Hey, beautiful people. Thank you so much for listening to my testimony. I appreciate the love and support. After surviving years of abuse from our own family, my sister and I made a vow. We wanted nothing to do with them. Our father, however, couldn't let them go. That was hard for me to understand. After everything they did to him and to us, he still clung to the idea of family. His mother and sister physically and emotionally abused us. They talked bad about him behind his back. His own brothers ignored our suffering and barely lifted a finger to help. His own half-sisters neglected us, returned us to unsafe environments, and ran their mouths about our business. Most of the extended family treated us like black sheep, neglected, dismissed, and forgotten. And still, my father held on. I realized something that broke my heart. He feared being alone more than he feared being hurt, even if it meant embracing the same family who betrayed him and his daughters. When my father died, my sister and I didn't contact his side of the family. We didn't even have their numbers. His half-sister, the same woman who placed us back in danger, ended up calling us. She asked us what we planned to do. We simply said, we want a cremation, no funeral. Our half-aunt was surprised by our answer. She said, all right, and hung up. Shortly after, our half-sister told us that my father's side of the family was angry and upset that we didn't want a funeral. Eventually, his sisters, brothers, and uncle offered to cover the cost. We agreed. But the moment we stepped into the house of the eldest half-sister, I felt something dark. My dad's half-sister's energies were cold, mocking, and hateful. I asked about the funeral arrangements, and suddenly the eldest was talking to us like we were the same little girls. She brought up our mother, knowing full well she left us when we were very young. She belittled my bachelor's degree while boasting about her master's degree. And when I mentioned why I didn't tolerate my abusive aunt, they mocked me. I kept calm, but deep down inside, I knew this was the beginning of the end of any family ties we had left. The funeral was decent. Many came to pay their respects. My father, despite his chaos, had people who truly loved him. But I can sense the rest were fake. No one offered help. My sister and I were still homeless with our 3 dogs. And those who did offer, their pride made it clear they only cared about how it looked. We kept it graceful until the end. After the service, we saw our abusive aunt, strung out, homeless, and pushing a cart full of junk. Even in spirit, I knew my father didn't want her there. She paid her respect. We acknowledged it. However, I stayed distant. I had already forgiven her. And I could see karma was tearing her apart. But despite all of that, she was still the same wicked woman. That was the last day I saw or spoke to almost all of my ex-family. After my father's funeral, my sister and I discovered that he left us some money. We used it to survive and gave our half-sister $200 for her apartment's security deposit. But after moving in, we saw clearly we had to cut ties with her too. We were close as children, but once my father and stepmother split, my half-sister's energy shifted. She tried to be a good person, but in my spirit, I knew she didn't like us. And if we didn't walk away, one of us wouldn't survive. She didn't even tell us she invited our dad's younger half-sister over to her apartment. And apparently, my dad's sister been telling our half-sister everything about what we've been through in the family. It was messy. It felt like a set up. As soon as our half-aunt walked in, my sister and I felt it. Her energy was dark and filled with ill intent. We left immediately that night, and we cut off every single family member for good. We didn't need them. They were wicked, sinful, and dangerous. If we kept being around them, they would have dragged us down, causing more pain and suffering. I told myself I would never be like them. I will rise. I will thrive and heal without them. But before I could celebrate this new profound freedom, God had to humble me. Thank you and God bless. stay tuned for the next part of my testimony series.